Hi, I'm Miss Sims, and today we are going to be working on a beginning crochet project to make a bag to work on our basic skills. So you will be needing a hook and a skein of yarn. The hook that I'm using today is the J size 10 6mm hook, and so anything above an H, I, J, K, anything you can use to make this bag. So I'm going to start by putting my slip stitch on my hook, and I'm going to tighten it, and I'm going to chain about 20 stitches. There's 20 stitches, and I'm going to do one more for my turn chain. The first thing you're going to do is go ahead and put your hook into the second chain from the hook, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through both. You are going to work a single crochet all the way to the end. Make sure you're putting your hook in the stitch to the left of the one you're working in. Okay, so we're kind of at the end. I went ahead and crocheted all the way to the end, except here is the last part. Don't forget to put it in that last stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and yarn over and pull through one, yarn over, pull through both. Now the next part is we are going to actually flip it over and go into the back stitches of our foundation chain. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in here. I didn't have to turn the project. I'm just going to put it in here and then start doing more single crochets. Now you might wonder, where do you go next? Well, right here I'm in this hole. I call this kind of like the X stitch. It kind of looks like an X to me. There's a line that goes here and a line that goes here. So I just go under that hole and I look and see if I have another X stitch, and here's the X part, and I'm going to go under that hole, and then I'm going to go all the way to the end. Here's my X stitch. If you don't really know where you're going, it's okay. You're going to have a little hole kind of in between, but I kind of like to pull it kind of like that. I'm going to go all the way to the end, and I'll see you in another second. The next part, we're going to have to go into the back stitch of the V-stitches. Now, normally when we do crochet, we do a turn chain and we go up to the next level, but we're going to just turn it slightly and look for the next V-stitch. It's actually on the other side of your work. So here's my V-stitch. You're not going to go under it, you're actually going to go into the back loop. So I'm going to go ahead and put my head in, yarn over, pull through the V-stitch, excuse me, the back loop, yarn over, pull through. Then we go into the next one, and you're going to see that it's going to kind of bunch up here. That's okay, because that's going to start building the sides of your bag. Just continue all the way till the end. Once you get to the end, it's going to curve again. But you don't have to do anything except keep putting your hook into the back stitch. We're at the end. You're going to find the V-stitch kind of by the corner, kind of does this turn. And then use this one here. Where it kind of pokes out now, and then continue across. Continue to put your single crochets in the back loop. going to keep going around and around in a circle, and your bag is going to start building its sides. And it's going to build up like this. So after you've done several rows, you want to build it until this looks kind of about 6 or 7 inches to me. I don't really do a count, it's just kind of what feels natural. So not this short, but a little bit longer. And so since we're going in a circular pattern, you can see on the outside that it doesn't really match up, and that's okay. So, but you do want to end it on the same side as, if you look inside, the same size where you started. So I'm going to turn it inside out, and you're going to see kind of what it looks like on the inside. This is from going in the top stitch of your V-stitch. It's a really pretty pattern, but this is the inside. If you go on the top stitch of your V-stitch and turn it the other way, you can see you have this nice ridge pattern. See the ridges in your pattern. So we're going to go and do the next part of our stitch, which it's going to create almost like a ladder so that we can add a cinch tie to it. So I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to yarn over and do a double crochet into the second hole. So I'm going to skip this stitch and go into the second one. This one is going to go under the V-stitch. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to chain 1, yarn over, skip this stitch, and go into the next under the V-stitch, not in the back loop only. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Excuse me, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Chain 1 again, yarn over, skip the stitch, go into the second, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You can kind of see that I'm making almost looks like a ladder with windows inside. So you're going to chain 1 in between, yarn over, skip that stitch, go into the next one, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1. And you're going to do that all the way around. Okay, so I went ahead and went around the bag, and now I'm kind of at the end, and I'm going to chain 1 and skip a stitch and go into the next one. Okay, so we're right about here. So I am going to do a slip stitch to attach these two. I'm going to chain 1 first. And then I'm going to do a slip stitch in one of these. I think maybe just the second chain from the hook. It doesn't really matter, just as long as it's slip stitch. Nobody's ever going to see it. So go ahead and pull through. And so you have your ladder. Now into the stitches, I call this the bridge. So you are going to be putting a cluster of double crochets into this part here under the stitch. Doesn't sound like you might understand right now, but I'm going to go ahead and explain it. So first thing you have to do is you have to chain 2. That acts as your first double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to go under the bridge and I'm going to chain 1 double crochet. So it looks like we have 2 double crochets. And then I'm going to go ahead and go under again. And now I have 3 double crochets. Now in this, it depends on how big you want your bag, but sometimes you might run out of yarn, and if you're going to run out of yarn, I would do 3 crochets under this stitch, but this one I'm going to do 5 double crochets because I want it to look nice and flowery looking, like big petals coming out of my bag. So this is 4, yarn over, make sure you go under the bridge, and so it looks like 5. So I'll count it for you. So there's your chain 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. This chain 2 counts as 5 double crochets. Then I'm going to go ahead and yarn over, and I'm going to do the same thing in the next one. So I'm going to do 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, all underneath the bridge. So you can see how it kind of looks like a fan and a fan. Okay, we are at the end. We have 5 stitches under each of the bridges, and so you're going to need to just put it together by doing a slip stitch. A slip stitch, you don't yarn over, you don't do anything, you just put your head in and you yarn over and pull through one and then pull through the other one. So it's just called a slip stitch. Then you are going to go ahead and reach for your scissors and cut. You're going to pull it through, and we will be sewing this end in, but this is kind of what the top looks like. Real fluffy, real feathery. And then I'm going to show you how to do the in and out string in just a moment, and then we'll finish up our project. Okay, the last part of this bag, we are going to make a long chain to provide the string to go under that bridge. So I'm just going to start crocheting here. And you're going to want to make a chain that is pretty long so that you can tie it into a bow. So I'm just going to keep crocheting, and probably longer, maybe twice the size as this long. So I'm going to go ahead and chain that for you and then show you what it looks like when it's finished. We are at the end of our chain. We are going to cut, remember, about 6 inches. You don't ever want to cut less because you can always cut yarn off this way, and then just pull it out. Like I said, you can always cut more off. Sometimes I like to put a bead on here, like a wooden bead, and that kind of just gives it a final look. So what we're going to do is we are going to weave this in between these bars, I guess you could say. So I'm going to look at this here. I think I want my knot to be here in the middle, not on the side. So I'm going to start by going in and out, in and out, all the way here, in and out. Skip each one, turn it over, skip, in and out. Let's go ahead and weave in the last part. There's your big long tail. My favorite part to weave in, or my favorite way to weave in, is kind of going around, under, and up, and I'll show you what that means. So go ahead, remember, pinch the very end. You're going to have a tail here. You don't tie a knot on it. So right here is where I ended. I'm going to go around underneath the V-stitch. You can either go through this one or this one, it doesn't really matter. But I go under the V-stitch, pull through, and then I go up the knot that I started. And we call this the invisible knot. So it's nice and straight, there's no bump. I'm going to quickly weave this in for you so that I can get rid of the tail. And I always want to weave into the back side of my project. And I usually do about the width of my needle. Pull on it. Take your scissors and cut it as close to the yarn without cutting the yarn. And then we're about ready to finish off our bag. One last thing is the inside of the bag still has a piece of yarn. And you're going to want to weave that in also. So this one's not as important as the other one because you can't really see it, but I'm just going to go through and weave in a little so that it doesn't look like there's pieces of yarn coming out of your project. Straighten it out a little bit. Cut. And then we can't see that yarn piece anymore. Turn it back right side out with our beautiful ridges. Pull it tight. And there's your beautiful bag.